The film opens with a woman in her 50s waking up from her sleep, startled by a loud noise coming from her daughter Miriam's room. She is shocked to see Miriam covered in red. Since then, she has been depressed and lying limp in the hospital. Long story short, decades have passed, and Miriam is now an adult, around 30 years old. That day, Miriam accompanies her mother, who has been hospitalized since an incident decades ago. Miriam is deeply saddened by her mother's condition. Miriam is now a beautiful adult woman. That night, she is with a man she met at a club. The man walks her home to her apartment, intending to engage her in intimacy. However, suddenly, Miriam remembers her dark past and runs away from him. Miriam works in a clothing store, but she is often seen daydreaming alone, thinking about the past and her mother's illness. When she got home, she remembered her mother crying with a bruised face. This was all the work of her father, the Padre. It turned out that Miriam also experienced the same thing. That night, Miriam was suddenly summoned by the Padre and treated badly. It turned out that the incident that Miriam experienced earlier was the Padre's doing. He forced Miriam to be intimate with him, and this also caused Miriam's mother to experience mental distress that continues to this day. Miriam's superior, Anna, kept an eye on Miriam. That day, Anna saw Miriam's bruised face. Anna felt sorry for Miriam, but she couldn't do anything. Miriam also had a younger brother, Luis, and it turned out he also experienced the same thing as her mother and Miriam. But what was most distressing was that Miriam was not only treated badly, but also often invited to be intimate with her. That night, while eating together, Miriam was treated badly by the Padre. Luis tried to help Miriam, but this only provoked the Padre, and as a result, Luis was beaten, leaving Miriam terrified. Afterward, the Padre came to Miriam's room and wanted to make out with her. Luis could only silently watch her and the Padre from the doorway. However, Luis couldn't stand it anymore. He wanted to end it all and get rid of the Padre. Unfortunately, he didn't have the courage to do so. Miriam then ran away from home and met Anna, asking to stay there temporarily for safety. Anna accepted and welcomed her. Miriam felt safe living in Anna's house, and Anna treated her like family. However, she soon saw the news on television. Luis was gone forever, and Miriam was convinced it was the Padre's doing. Miriam then returned home and met the Padre. There, Miriam seemed to want to invite the Padre to be intimate, but when he was off guard, Miriam immediately cut up his valuables and gave them to her mother in a jar. Miriam couldn't stand it anymore, so she and her mother could live in peace. Even though Luis was gone, Miriam promised to take good care of her mother. That was the plot of our film this time. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you again in our next film.